In 1988, many years later, when he was on his yajna at the Mountain of Attention, he gathered with devotees in huge helper one day and spoke to them about his life as a process in which the divine had always been emerging as his bodily human form.
I should have been living the life of a simple householder on Long Island. I should have gone into the window business or something. That would have been a straight duplication of my mother and father, you see. I didn't do anything of the kind, though, you see. You can't account for that difference by looking at my mother and father, or grandparents, and so forth. In the lineage of the body, you can't find the reason for that difference. The reason for that difference is on two levels. One, the very one, born in this vehicle, and the other, the deeper personality, the karmic vehicle that is subtle, operating prior to the brain. That one has also got its own destiny, has its own signs that it's been showing all throughout this life. Sometimes some of you like to consider possible previous lifetimes of this one and so on. It obviously has all kinds of qualities of a high yogi and so forth, and such and such. Some of its, in other words, unique personality characteristics can be seen, because they're quite different from my mother and father, quite different from the lineage of this gross personality, you see. So it has some qualities such as that, which you have observed. Likewise, after the Vedanta Temple event, that entity, so to speak, or mechanism still existed. It wasn't cancelled. You see, if it had been cancelled in that samadhi, death would have come shortly thereafter. Instead, these vehicles persisted, as they were up till the day before the Vedanta Temple. They didn't suddenly disappear or become utterly different because of the Vedanta Temple event, you see. But the full awakening to the one appearing through these forms took place there. And this released the siddhi of who I am into the context of this body-mind, and it spontaneously initiated the siddhi of my teaching work, which was the siddhi of submitting these gross and deeper mechanisms to others in the play of teaching. This was a purpose inherent in who I am, and it was also a purpose rather characteristic of this deeper personality. So this is a part of its sign too, then, that motive to teach, you see, to be so submitted. So you can see how those mechanisms then influenced or were the materials of the teaching work. It was enlightened play, crazy play, yes, but it used these mechanisms just as they are. The mechanisms were allowed to, because they were like people are generally, they were allowed to be that way, to function with others in the ordinary way, to combine with them in an extraordinary way also, in this revealing teaching play. So the vehicles were awakened to who I am, with a context of great realization. But nonetheless, they were still themselves what they are, and became then readily available for a unique work. And that was the teaching work then. And the teaching work was done completely to death. And in that death, the vehicles then became changed. The vehicles were not different the day after the Vedanta Temple event, or the moment after, but they were different the moment after the death event. And those who were there observed this one way or another immediately after that event, and observed it in the coming months, and since then. It's there to be observed, at any rate. And some have observed it. The vehicles themselves became transformed. And this, of course, is part of what I talk about in terms of the seventh stage demonstration, you see. This transfiguring and transforming work to the point of indifference. the indifference sign more and more magnified since then, you see, since the death event. And also an advanced form of the transformation sign, such that the vehicles are no longer in play, they are no longer becoming the likeness of others, in submission to others, you see. They are submitted entirely to who I am. So the circumstance of relationship to me can no longer be one of this interplay, this exchange, you see, since these vehicles are submitted. Therefore, the circumstance of the relationship necessarily becomes one in which you must submit, the practitioner must submit, you see. So you see what the significance of the death event is then, what it requires. So to speak, there's nothing left of the gross or the deeper personalities of this one, apparently. There's nothing left but the ash.